Mind the gains, and the gains will mind you. As we approached the last setting of our magical journey, the celestial city, I couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement mixed with nervousness. I nudged Friday and whispered, "You think those stardust buildings can withstand an ant's weight?" Before he could answer, a friendly creature shimmered into existence before us. "Greetings, travelers." It greeted us in a musical tone. "I am Starlight, guardian of the celestial city. I sense you seek knowledge. What is it that troubles your hearts?" Its glow seemed to pierce through my concerns as Begully tried his best to hold back a laugh with an ant fact. "Did you know ants can lift 50 times their body weight? Just imagine how many planets we could move if we were all on the same team."
As Starlight spoke, I couldn't help but recall my time on Earth's rugged mountains. My motorbike and I had been through countless adventures, but before I could share a tale or two, Begully let out an unexpectedly loud guffaw at the thought of ants moving planets. "Dear friends," Starlight said with a gentle chuckle, "your energy is infectious. Allow me to guide you through our city's secrets and marvels."
As we followed Starlight's guidance, I couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement mixed with nervousness. This was truly an adventure unlike any other. I noticed Friday glancing around in wonder at the stardust buildings and twinkling cityscape. It reminded me so much of Tokyo back on Earth, both filled with life, energy, and their own unique charm. Starlight led us to a grand plaza where citizens gathered, laughing and chatting as they enjoyed evening gatherings under the starlight-soaked sky. I grinned at Habito. This was just like those bustling streets in Tokyo I'd come to love. But instead of sushi stands and izakayas, we had celestial beings sharing their knowledge. As we explored further into the city's secrets, Starlight introduced us to more fascinating creatures made entirely of light who challenged us with riddles. With each puzzle solved, they rewarded us with magical treasures that filled our hearts with joy and excitement. I couldn't wait to see what other wonders awaited us in this celestial kingdom, but for now, I was content to soak up the atmosphere and relish these moments spent with my friends on this incredible journey through imagination's realm. No pain, no gain.
Whoa, check out those iridescent trees over yonder. They shimmer in shades of pink and blue, quite a sight for sore eyes. I bet they'd make for some gnarly snowboarding runs if we could find a way down. Speaking of which, did you guys notice how the flowers around here sing gentle melodies? Kinda reminds me of my old band days back on Earth. Time to try our hand at harmonizing with them. Let's get this party started. If you fall, just roll with it, snowball style.
Ah, those flowers are quite the sight. They're like nature's own symphony, and I bet they'd sound amazing if you could find a way to play them like instruments. Speaking of music, have any of y'all tried mixing Tokyo's bustling streets with sushi from izakayas? It may sound strange, but trust me, it makes for an unforgettable gastronomic adventure.
Giddy at the prospect of snowboarding down those iridescent trees, I grinned like a Cheshire cat. Suddenly, we heard laughter echoing off the walls. It was time for our next adventure in this enchanted realm. Joining hands, we charged forth into the unknown as eager explorers daring to unveil its hidden secrets and marvels.
Work hard, snack hard, I exclaimed, pumping my tiny ant-sized fists in excitement. We challenged each other with our favorite workout routines or bizarre recipes from home, even shared some random ant facts that made everyone burst into laughter. It was all in good fun as we continued to explore this wondrous city together.
With a hearty laugh, I kicked up dust with my motorbike and revved it like a bear baring its teeth. "You lot won't believe what we found around the next bend," I shouted over Starlight's hum. Steering clear of the city's secrets, my Suzuki was as adventurous as I, always ready for new roads and thrilling tales to tell at our Bear BBQS.
With a flourish of her sword, Friday declared, "And so it begins. Our epic quest through this whimsical world." The others cheered in agreement, their hearts racing with excitement. As they journeyed deeper into the celestial city, Starlight's guidance led them to bustling streets filled with curious citizens gathering for evening gatherings beneath a starlight-soaked sky. Friday couldn't help but exclaim, "This city is pure magic. Think of all the secrets we'll uncover."
I took a deep breath and launched myself off the starting line. My snowboard was shaped like a pizza and I felt invincible. I twisted, turned, and laughed all at once. It really is true what they say about living life to the fullest. Why did I wait so long? I asked myself as my board glided over what looked like a sushi bar over iridescent trees. Suddenly, I remembered Friday's sword dance from our last adventure. Who knew we'd end up here in such an enchanting land?
With a mighty roar of excitement, Habito sped past us on his trusty motorcycle. His tires kicked up dust as he spun around in circles, weaving through the crowd with unmatched skill and finesse. Suddenly, he skidded to a halt, throwing up a cloud of dirt as he fishtailed his bike to face us. With an ear-splitting grin spread across his massive bare visage, Habito declared, "That's it. I've had enough. Let's ride our luck with some snowboarding while we still got the mountain air in our lungs."
Friday took a deep breath and struck a dramatic pose. "Ah, my brave companions. We must seize this surreal moment with all the fervor of an impassioned warrior." She brandished her sword in the air. "Let us explore these stardust buildings and uncover their city's secrets together."
Put this blueprint with you. What do I need to do?
Big Gully pumped his fist enthusiastically. "Work hard, snack hard," he exclaimed, eliciting laughter from Friday and Dean. He then shared an outrageous recipe for protein shakes that had all of Tokyo's izakayas buzzing about his eccentricity. Intrigued by local athletes' prowess in snowboarding, Big Gully transformed into a fitness fanatic. With boundless energy and quirky style, he concocted ant-sized protein shakes and challenged friends to ant battle moves.
Habito let out a mighty roar of excitement. Big Gully's got ants on his mind. He patted his trusty motorcycle, Suzuki. But me, I prefer my wheelie dealing over ant facts any day. With that, Habito revved up his bike and performed circles around the group. The wind rushed through his fur as he whooped in excitement.
As I watch from afar with a cheerful grin on my beak, I can't help but admire Habito's wheelie skills. Just like snowboarding, it takes balance and practice. But while they're battling ants in fitness form, I'll stick to my trusty Suzuki for some fun-filled rides around the snowy slopes. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up doing a snowball run or an impromptu dance party under the starry sky tonight. Now, let's go show those ants what our ant-sized fists can do.
Big Gully heaved a hearty laugh before sharing one of his quirky workouts. "Work hard, snack hard," he chanted with enthusiasm, holding up an ant-sized fist for emphasis. Habito raised a brow at Big Gully's peculiar shake and shook his head in amusement. "Your dedication to the ant quirk is admirable," he chuckled, patting Suzuki. Friday chimed in laughter before sharing her tale of the eccentricity that had gripped Tokyo. "I've seen athletes experimenting with bizarre protein recipes, but nothing could beat Big Gully's enthusiasm. From mountain air to izakaya sushi bars, even ant facts. He breathes fitness." Dean nodded in agreement. "Mind over muscles, always."
As we roared through the Candyland realm on our trusty motorcycles, Friday let out an ear-piercing squawk. "This is ridiculous," she cried, ruffling her feathers in frustration. I couldn't help but chuckle at her dramatics and replied, "Come on, Friday, embrace the sugar rush." Just then, A pack of rampaging gummy bears charged towards us.
I stood tall, raising my sword above my head. Fear not, Mes Amos. The warrior of pastries shall save the day. With a swift stroke, I sliced through a towering mountain of gummy bears, their red and blue colors staining the candy-coated hill. Our group shared a moment of relief before gearing up for more adventures in this sweet dimension.
As we sped through the Candyland realm on our trusty motorcycles, I performed my signature snowbird dance. Telling funny snow jokes and dancing with a carrot snowboard shaped like a pizza, I cheered up the group. Suddenly, the pack of rampaging gummy bears charged at us.
Habito. Yes. The thrill of the open road. Nothing quite compares to cruising through these whimsical dimensions on our motorcycles. Remember that time in the Candyland realm when we encountered those troublesome gummy bears? It was a close call, but with Friday's fierce fighting spirit and Dean's snowboarding skills, we managed to escape unscathed. Now, let's continue our quest for more snacks and even greater adventures.
Zooming down a candy-coated hill on my carrot snowboard, I couldn't help but feel exhilarated by the rush of air against my feathers. Life in this multiverse is truly a roller coaster ride. But wait, what's that? A group of mischievous cookie monsters charging towards us. Looks like we'll need to team up and use our snack-themed powers to battle these beasts.
As Begully chugged on his protein shake, he spotted a group of cookie monsters charging towards the gang. With a smile, he pumped his tiny ant arms in excitement. You know what we need? A little bit of weightlifting action. He challenged, as he began doing some warm-up stretches for an ant battle move.
Habito grumbled in discontent. Looks like our next encounter won't be any easier than that last one. He patted his trusty motorbike. Bear B28, he called it. As they approached their next destination, a mysterious fortress loomed on the horizon. The Snack Fortress. Adventure is in my DNA. Mindfulness is in my soul.
Feeling ready for action, Dean took one last look at his carrot snowboard before performing his signature snowbird dance. Laughter filled the air as he cracked a funny snow joke. Suddenly, an eerie aura enveloped them. It was the Snack Fortress. With all their might, they pedaled and rode through treacherous terrains in anticipation of the ultimate snack duel.
Habito revved up his trusty motorbike Bear B28 with a grin on his face. He loved nothing more than navigating through dangerous dimensions and tricky terrains on his bike. The fortress loomed closer. It was time for action.
Begully couldn't contain his excitement at the sight of the Snack Fortress looming in front of him. Let's give those cookie monsters a taste of their own medicine, he exclaimed, flexing his tiny ant arms. As they approached the fortress, Begully led the group with his signature ant battle move. The gang shared laughs and adrenaline as they leaped onto the structure, ready to take on any challenge that came their way.
As I performed my snowbird dance one last time, I noticed a subtle change in the atmosphere around us. Something was different about this snack fortress. The anticipation of our showdown with the snack master filled me with excitement. But as we got closer, that thrill gave way to confusion. The fortress wasn't static like it was supposed to be. It seemed alive. I had heard stories of living food in this multiverse, but seeing is believing. Cold feet. Just another chance to be mindful.
Friday squawked passionately, a warrior must fuel with eclairs. She brandished her sword dramatically as she charged into battle against this living fortress. The air hummed with anticipation of their snack duel.
Begully, fueled by his energy and determination, led the group in a series of high fives and ant-sized protein shakes. He chuckled at Friday's dramatics, but couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement as they prepared for their showdown with the snack master. The fortress loomed closer. It was time to put all their snackifeed powers to the test.
Habito revved his trusty motorbike Bearby Dash, grinning at the sight of the snack fortress up ahead. His adrenaline surged. This was just the kind of adventure he loved. The thrill of approaching a fortress that seemed alive, a living representation of their journey across dimensions, filled him with anticipation.
Bigully, eager for action, led the group in his signature ant battle move. His tiny ant arms darted around, expertly mixing protein shakes amidst laughter and excitement. As they neared the snack fortress, its dynamic structure piqued Bigully's curiosity even more. This adventure was unlike anything he'd experienced in Tokyo or anywhere else.
As a snowboarding bard from the Swiss Alps, I've always enjoyed carving down snowy peaks on my colorful collection of snowboards. Before each run, I perform my signature snowboard dance, cracking up everyone with my silly snow jokes. Now, facing this snack fortress and its anticipated showdown with the snack master, our group's laughter and camaraderie only grows stronger.
Habito grunted in anticipation as his trusty motorbike Bearby roared between towering ice cream mountains. Friday squawked excitedly from behind him, her feathers ruffling with enthusiasm. He couldn't help but chuckle at Friday's dramatics. They were quite the quirky quartet. As they neared their destination, the snack fortress itself, Habito felt a surge of thrill and confidence. This was what he lived for. Adrenaline-pumping adventures, savory snacks granting magical powers, all shared with his newfound friends. That's Possum.
As I watched our colorful collection of snowboards gleam under the bright lights of the snack fortress entrance, my heart raced with anticipation. My loyal companions gathered around me, their excitement matched mine. Let's taste victory and show this snack master what we're made of, I declared dramatically, my sword at the ready. With a deep breath and a fierce pose, I led feather flow yoga sessions filled with laughter as ever. This was just the start of our adventure in the multiverse. A sword and a croissant, what more could a hen ask for?
Habito revved up his trusty motorbike Bearby one more time, grinning at Friday's dramatics. He lovingly patted his motorcycle's handlebars before launching into an exaggerated tale of a daring motorcycle race across molten lava fields in the volcanic dimension. His audience listened intently, enthralled by his animated storytelling and bear-sized sense of humor. As they approached the snack fortress, its dynamic structure seemed to shift and change, heightening everyone's anticipation even more so. This adventure was like nothing they'd experienced before. A living testament to the magic that could happen when food had power. Grr.
Flying in from the snow-capped peaks of the Swiss Alps, Dean landed on his collection of colorful snowboards shaped like carrots and pizzas. He took a moment to perform his signature snowboard dance, telling funny snow jokes as he prepared for their upcoming challenge at the snack fortress. His laid-back attitude filled with enthusiasm had become infectious among the group. They all laughed together, readying themselves for whatever magic awaited them in this mysterious multiverse. Cool heads, even cooler tricks.
Bigully cheered enthusiastically from his collection of snowboards shaped like carrots and pizzas. He couldn't wait to flex his tiny ant arms at the snack fortress. His excitement was palpable as he pumped himself up with protein shakes, sharing bizarre recipes and random facts that always led to laughter during workouts. Big dreams in a small package.
Dean watched in awe as the snack fortress changed shape before their very eyes. He couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation wash over him. His snowboarding skills might have helped them get this far, but he wasn't sure how they'd fare against whatever was waiting for them inside that constantly shifting structure.
Begully couldn't contain his excitement any longer. He pumped his little ant arms in anticipation and called out, "Work hard, snack hard." His voice echoed through the air, causing a ripple effect among their group of friends. The energy was palpable. They all knew that they were about to face an extraordinary challenge at the snack fortress, one unlike anything they'd ever encountered before. Ants don't quit, neither do I.
Dean took a deep breath and flexed his wings in preparation. With a grin on his beak, he led the charge towards the ever-changing snack fortress. As they neared their destination, everyone could feel their pulse quicken with anticipation of what awaited them inside that dynamic structure. Powder Day, Peaceful Mind.
Friday puffed out her feathers and let loose a dramatic squawk, her voice reverberating through the multiverse. She struck a pose, her sword glinting in the light of an infinite number of suns. "Warriors, ready yourselves for the ultimate snack duel," she proclaimed with gusto. The gang cheered in unison as they neared their destination, the snack fortress itself. Habito revved up his trusty motorbike Bearby Dash, a grin stretching across his bare face. As they drew closer to their goal, Friday couldn't help but feel her fighting spirit surging forward with renewed vigor. The excitement in the air was thick enough to slice through. It was almost tangible, like a dense fog of anticipation. They had faced many challenges together, battling giant gummy bears in Candyland realm, navigating cheese fog in the dairy dimension, and escaping donut-shaped wormholes in the dessert galaxy. But this felt different. As they approached the ever-changing structure that housed their next great adventure, Begully's curiosity peaked to an almost unbearable degree. He shifted on his snowboard/carrot hybrid board, eager for what awaited them inside, and how it would test their newfound friend's prowess with snacks. The laughter of Friday, Dean, and even the curious ant portion of Begully echoed around them as they neared the snack fortress, a veritable smorgasbord of dynamic structures. They were ready to face whatever challenge lay ahead, fueled by pastries and determination.
Begully's eyes widened in excitement as he spotted an enormous structure shaped like a single chocolate chip cookie. He couldn't help but let out an enthusiastic squawk, causing his friends to exchange confused glances.
Friday raised her sword in excitement, drawing inspiration from the giant pastry monstrosity before them. "A warrior must fuel with eclairs," she proclaimed dramatically, making a beeline for the nearest snack station. Ignoring Begully's bewildered stare and Dean's amused chuckle, Friday dove into a pile of freshly baked cookies with abandon. Meanwhile, Habito revved up his trusty motorbike, Bearby Dash, grinning at the sight of their next adventure unfolding before them like an adrenaline-fueled dream.
Habito couldn't contain his excitement any longer. "Hold on tight, friends," he cried out as he gunned his motorbike's engine. The group hastily climbed aboard their various modes of transport, Friday clutching her sword tightly, Dean balancing a snowboard on his back, and Begully flexing his tiny ant arms in anticipation. As they neared the colossal cookie structure, Habito took a sharp turn that left everyone stunned by his deft handling. "This is just like those molten lava fields we raced through back in the Swiss Alps," he exclaimed with enthusiasm.
Chapping in excitement, Dean replied, "Indeed it is. Those Swiss snowboarding adventures were some of our best yet." He then launched himself into a fun snowball at Begully before landing smoothly on his trusty pizza-shaped snowboard. The gang laughed and cheered each other on as they cruised towards the colossal cookie structure with renewed vigor.
Freet, as we approached the towering cookie structure, my heart raced with excitement. Remembering our previous Swiss escapades, I struck a dramatic pose and declared, "A warrior must fuel with eclairs." The gang chuckled as they followed my lead. Fueled by pastries and determination, we charged towards the snack fortress, our next great adventure awaiting us within its dynamic structure. The art of war is très chic.
Gully couldn't contain his excitement any longer. "Alright guys," he announced as they approached the massive cookie fortress, "let's put those ant battle moves to work and conquer this thing." His friends cheered in agreement as Bearby revved up its engine. As they drew closer, their anticipation grew, fueled by pastries and determination. The snack fortress loomed before them, a testament to their skills on snowboards, pizzas, and even trusty motorbikes like Bearby Dash. With renewed vigor, the gang charged forward into the adventure that awaited them within its dynamic structure. Gully's eyes widened with curiosity as he spotted something unusual in the distance. "Hey everyone, look over there." He pointed towards a peculiar shape emerging from behind one of the towering cookie pillars. As they drew closer, it became apparent that the object was indeed an enormous ant, or rather, an entomologist's dream. "Wow, just look at those little ant arms waving in excitement," he marveled. "It must be trying to communicate with us." Without another moment's hesitation, Gully and his friends leaped off their snowboards and raced towards the curious creature, eager for a closer look.
Habito chuckled while riding his trusty motorbike Bearby Dash, weaving through the snowy peaks of the Swiss Alps. He caught sight of Gully and their friends sprinting towards an enormous ant with little ant arms waving in excitement. "Looks like we are not the only ones who love a good adventure," he quipped before racing after them, eager to meet this peculiar creature himself.
Friday gasped at the sight of the enormous ant and its waving arms. "Mon Dieu! This will make a fabulous tale for my next dramatic monologue." She took a deep breath and struck a pose before hopping off her snowboard, eager to meet this peculiar creature herself. As they approached, Friday couldn't help but notice the entomologist's dream seemed quite intrigued by their group of friends.
As Dean watched the ant's excitement grow, he grinned and prepared for an exciting encounter. He had heard tales of these creatures in his Swiss adventures but never had a chance to meet one up close. With his trusty snowboard by his side, he joined the others in greeting this extraordinary being.
Friday approached the massive ant with an air of elegance and grace. "Ah, mon ami," she began dramatically, "we have met a creature like none other in our journey across the Swiss Alps." The entomologist's dream seemed peculiar but intriguing, causing Friday to raise her sword high above her head. With a mighty roar, she shouted, to adventure and excitement in this snow-filled land of wonder.
Habito grinned broadly as he throttled down his motorbike Bearby Dash, allowing it to rumble softly. "Well now, looky here. Ant and friends, meeting an entomologist's dream in our very own Swiss Alps." He gestured grandly towards the ant with a bear-sized portion of humor. The creature seemed peculiar but intriguing indeed, waving its little arms enthusiastically as if sharing some form of universal communication. Without missing a beat or betraying his excitement, Habito kept up his jovial front. "What say you, me hearties? Shall we partake in this entomologist's dream adventure?" His words were filled with gusto and enthusiasm that even the cold air of Swiss Alps couldn't douse. Yup.
Friday's heart fluttered with excitement at Habito's proposition. She lowered her sword gracefully and gestured towards the peculiar ant creature before them. "Ah, mon ami," she began dramatically, "this is a day we shall not forget. A chance encounter like none other in our journey across the Swiss Alps." With every word, Friday drew closer to the entomologist's dream adventure. Feeling inspired and ready for anything, she tightened her grip on her sword. She took a deep breath and struck a pose, exclaiming, "A warrior must fuel with éclairs. And today, we shall savor the sweet taste of victory." With that, Friday led the charge towards their newfound friend's realm. The gang raced forward on snowboards, motorbikes, and pizzas, each member as spirited and determined as the next. Together, they faced challenges battling bears in Candyland realm, while cutting through cheese fog in Dairy Dimension via donut-shaped wormholes to Dessert Galaxy. In the midst of their thrilling adventure, Friday couldn't help but marvel at how their band of misfits had become a tightly knit group bound by trust and shared pastries. As they neared the snack fortress, their final destination, she smiled confidently and shouted over the wind, "To victory, my friends. Let's slice through that fortress with gusto. Vive la revolution."
As they neared the snack fortress, an idea struck Habito. He veered off his motorbike and ran back to where he had stored a large piece of honey-soaked bread. Returning with triumph, he shouted, "Bears love this. I'll hold them off." With that, he tossed it into the air and watched as a flock of ravens descended upon it greedily.
Friday's eyes widened in excitement at the sight of her friends battling bears and navigating through desert dimensions. "Ah, what an adventure!" she exclaimed between gasps of laughter. She raised her sword high above her head, causing it to glimmer under the sunlit Swiss Alps sky. As they approached the snack fortress, Friday couldn't help but feel a sense of pride for their band of misfits, the entomologist's dream come true. Each member brought something unique to their group: Bear B, with his adrenaline-fueled motorbike and fierce determination; Dean with his newfound friend's prowess at snowboarding that complemented her own skills on a board. As she watched them fight off hordes of desert creatures, Friday took in the sight of Begully and Ent battling on their behalf. Despite their small size, they showed no fear or hesitation as they joined forces against these towering cookie pillars. Fueled by pastries and spurred by Dean's chuckle at her dramatic flair, she raised her sword once more. To adventure, she declared confidently, ready for whatever challenge lay ahead in this entomologist's paradise. Breathe. Friday's eyes sparkled like polished diamonds as she spotted an abandoned theater in the projects. "Mon cher ami," she exclaimed dramatically, gesturing towards it with a flourish of her sword. "What a perfect place for our dramatic workshops." Her feathered cohorts cheered in agreement, their enthusiasm echoing through the gritty alleyways.
As they approached the theater, Habito spotted an old motorcycle magazine sticking out of Friday's back. His eyes lit up with excitement and he shouted, "Hey Friday, look what I found." With a grin as wide as his bear-like snout, he showed her a picture of a bike covered in neon colors and flames.
As they entered the abandoned theater, Begully's eyes widened at the sight of dusty old props left behind by previous actors. He couldn't resist picking up an oversized foam finger perfect for demonstrating ant battle moves. His energy was contagious as he bounced around with excitement. With a grin, he challenged Friday and Habito to a friendly game of charades using their special skills: Friday's dramatic flair, Habito's singing talent, and his own quirky fitness moves. One ant army. Begully nervously gulped down his oversized protein shake, its contents a strange mix of flavors swirling in his stomach. He glanced around the dark basement room and spotted a mysterious locker hidden behind cobwebs. What could be inside, he wondered aloud, making up his mind to check it out before anyone else does. Stronger than I look, more mindful than you think.
In the eerie silence of the abandoned community center, Friday couldn't help but shiver at the thought of what lay hidden in that locker. Her adventurous spirit stirred within her like a dormant volcano awakening from its slumber. Folding her arms and taking a deep breath, she declared dramatically, "Feather Flow Yoga calls for courage. Let us embark on this quest together, friends." With that, Friday led the way towards the mysterious locker. Vive la revolution.
Begully's heart thumped wildly in his chest as he reached out and opened the locker. To his surprise, it revealed an array of quirky workout gear, a perfect treasure trove for someone like him. He couldn't resist pulling on some of the colorful sports attire, feeling like a true fitness fanatic now. With a gleeful laugh, he shared this exciting discovery with his friends. "Check out these amazing finds."
Habito rode up to the group, strumming an imaginary guitar and singing loudly. I'm just a bear who loves to ride. And when I find cool stuff like this, he gestured at the locker. It's like hitting pay dirt. With that, Habito grabbed some workout gear too, joining Bigully in his newfound enthusiasm for fitness fashion.
As I flipped through an old sports magazine tucked inside the locker, a sudden gust of wind sent chills down my spine. Was it merely the night's cool air, or something more sinister? Ignoring my unease, I continued sharing my newfound workout gear with Friday and Habito, our laughter echoing in the hollow silence of the abandoned community center.
Taking a quick break from snowboarding down the slope shaped like a giant ice cream cone, Dean performed his signature snowboard dance. He spun around and laughed. Why'd it have to be so cold? I could really use some pizza right about now. The others exchanged glances before joining in with more snow jokes, lightening the tense atmosphere.
As Friday approached the group dressed in her newly discovered workout gear, she struck a pose and declared dramatically, "Ah, mes Amos. Look at us, standing tall against the shadows of this haunted community center. A warrior must be fit." She flexed her muscles for emphasis as the others couldn't help but chuckle at her enthusiasm. Habito, laughing along with Friday's antics, Habito felt a sudden urge to join his friend in one last daring act before their nightmarish adventure continued. He turned to Dean and declared, "I may be just a bear, but I'll give it my all. Let's race down this icy slope like the champions we are." With that challenge, the group charged towards the snowy incline as they prepared for their next thrill-seeking feat. As they navigated through the winding corridors of the abandoned community center, Friday couldn't help but shiver at an eerie whisper echoing in the distance. Her dramatic flair turned into genuine fear, as she wondered if there was more to this haunting than just local legends and lost souls seeking revenge. Determined not to let her anxiety get the best of her, she steeled herself for whatever horrors awaited them deeper within the building. The group soon found themselves at a T-junction where two dark hallways met. On one side, an old poster advertised a long-forgotten sports tournament featuring their neighborhood's basketball team, champions in their heyday. Friday couldn't help but feel a pang of nostalgia for those glory days when the community was vibrant and full of life. On the other side, graffiti covered the walls with cryptic messages that sent goosebumps down Bigully's arms. One message stood out to him: "Leave before it's too late." He exchanged uneasy glances with his friends, wondering if they should continue delving deeper into this haunted space or retreat while they still had a chance. Dean, sensing the growing apprehension in their group, looked around and suggested, "Let's take a breather on the rooftop. We need to plan our next move and figure out what we're dealing with up here where it's safe." The others nodded in agreement as they followed him through the darkened building towards a flickering light marking their exit from the shadowy corners of the projects. As they climbed onto the abandoned community center's rooftop, Friday let out an involuntary gasp at the sight below. Shadows danced eerily beneath them, seemingly moving with a mind of their own. Fear gripped her heart as she realized that this haunting may not be just some local legend, but something far more sinister lurking in the dark corners of their neighborhood. Determined to uncover the truth and save their friends from potential harm, Friday resolved within herself, "No matter what fears I face, or how deep my anxieties go, I will stand tall against these shadowy figures. A warrior must be fearless."
As they stood on that darkened rooftop, feeling the night's chill seeping into their bones, Bigully couldn't help but feel a pang of nostalgia for Tokyo's bustling streets. His mind drifted back to his days there working out with local athletes and discovering new workout gear in colorful markets. He missed the thrill-seeking feats on snowy inclines that always left him breathless. But now was not the time for reminiscing, they needed to act. Suddenly, he remembered one of his favorite motivational quotes: "Work hard, snack hard." Spreading laughter among friends with this phrase had become a tradition during workouts. Now, in this eerie silence, it seemed like an odd thing to say. But hey, why not? They all needed some levity amidst the haunting whispers and chilling shadows. Focus, lift, repeat.
A warrior must face her fears head-on, I proclaimed, gripping my sword tightly. The air around us was thick with tension, even the usually chatty Habito seemed at a loss for words. Suddenly, I spotted something out of the corner of my eye, movement in the shadows. With a cry, I charged forward, leaving the others to follow behind.
Habito chuckled nervously as he adjusted his glasses and pulled out his guitar. Despite the tense atmosphere, music always seemed to lighten the mood even in this abandoned community center haunted by unseen entities. He strummed a few chords before breaking into an impromptu tune about their overnight adventure. The others joined in with joyful laughter and harmonies, momentarily forgetting their fears as they sang along. As the night wore on, shadows danced around them while the eerie whispers grew louder. Suddenly, a gust of cold air swept through the abandoned community center, causing cobwebs to dance wildly. Begully felt his heart rate spike, but quickly reminded everyone of their mantra, work hard, snack hard. With that, they began an impromptu workout session amidst the haunting specters, push-ups for every whisper, squats for each shadow. The group continued their exercise routine as strange happenings unfolded around them. Dean's snowboarding skills were put to the test when a spectral figure suddenly materialized before him on the gymnasium floor. Friday confronted her worst anxieties with dramatic flair, while Habito used his bravery to face off against ghostly apparitions that darted through the dark hallways. Begully, meanwhile, maintained an array of exercise moves designed to ward off any potential specters. With every ant battle move completed, he would let out a gleeful laugh, energized by adrenaline and protein shakes. The others couldn't help but be amused by his relentless enthusiasm, despite the chilling atmosphere. As time passed, the group continued their battle against the